If DocAv end-user archiving has been enabled, SharePoint business users can archive content at the item and document levels, the folder, list, and library levels, and even the site levels. To archive at the list or document level, first visit that library or list, and then select whatever content it is that you'd like to archive. From there, you can right-click on the item, and down under Advanced, find Archive. You can do the same from the Items drop-down, or if you prefer, on the Files tab for the ribbon in the Manage group, locate and click Archive. In the archiving box, you will see your options for archiving that content. Please note, administrators can control which options are available. So if you go into this box and don't see one of these two things that you see in this demo video, that's because that feature has been disabled. Archiving and remove data from SharePoint means the content will be removed from SharePoint and placed in an archive repository. It can be restored from there at a later time. Archive and keep data in SharePoint means the content will remain where it is, but a number of options can be applied to it. Examples include metadata tagging and making the content a SharePoint inline record, which essentially marks it as read-only and makes it ineditable. I'm going to leave the default archiving selection in place and click OK. A progress box will appear. You do not need to keep this progress box open in order for the archiving to complete. So if you have other things to do, you could close this box and your operations will continue. If you left the box open, once the job completes, you will see successfully completed the archive job, and you can click OK. If you selected the option to archive and remove the content from SharePoint, you will see that that content is no longer visible. If a user wishes to archive an entire list or library or a site, to do that they must have the appropriate permissions to be able to get in and view the settings at that particular level. If I go to this library tab, and out here to the right, you can see I have access to library settings. When I click on that, on the library settings page, you will see under Permissions and Management, archive this list or library. If I wish to archive the entire site, I would go to the gear, down into Site Settings, and under Site Administration, archive this site. In addition to being able to archive content, users with the appropriate permissions to get into the Site Settings page can also restore archived content. Here we can see, under Site Administration, View Archived Content of this site. If I click onto that, which is also visible by going to the gear up at the top, View Archived Content for this site, we can see our Documents library. If I click on that, here is the file that I just archived, and here is also an Excel file that I previously archived. We can see the date and the time over here on the right. If I select that item, up at the top under Archiver Tools, we can view the properties, we can restore it if need be, and we can also download. I'm going to click Restore. With Restore, it's going to put the item back in its original location, but if there's an object there with the same name, you may want to consider your restore options. We know that library in this particular case is empty, so it doesn't really matter in our purposes here. And I'll click Restore. The restore operation will start, and like your archiving operations, you do not need to keep this box open in order to allow that to complete. Once your restore operation has completed, if you left that box open, you can click OK. And if we now return to that library, we will see the item back in its original location.